What is going on, guys? NeBo back again. Hopefully you guys are doing good, and in today's video we're going to be doing a top 10 list, as you can probably tell from the title of the video. And this top 10 list is going to be a similarities from old era to new era pirates from One Piece. And I think I'm going to start this off with, why not, the Straw Hat Crew. So let's get into it. Okay, guys, so before I actually get into the top 10 list, I want to make sure, like, this is a disclaimer that this is just my theories and my speculations of what are to come in the later manga and anime of One Piece. So, I mean, you guys could totally disagree with it or like it. Let me know in the comment section below. Other than that, let's get right into it. Coming in at number 10 is Jinbei, and with that, I couldn't actually figure out any similarities to any other characters or anything, like, really, that Jinbei would resemble from an old era to new era, just because Jinbei is at that age. He's like that cusp of old era but entering the new era, so he's like kind of in between. And another reason why I didn't put anybody from the old era was that, or anybody you can compare against, is that I feel like Jinbei is gonna get killed off by Oda. Jinbei has already stated that he would do anything for Luffy. He'll even die for him, as long as Luffy will accomplish his dream of being a king of the pirates. So I feel like there is no comparison right now because he's just a staple. He is like who he is. Jinbei is Jinbei, you know what I mean? Fun fact, though, if you wanna put that there, he is the helmsman of the pirate crew, Straw Hat pirate crew. He's also known as the Knight of the Sea, and he's 46 years old with the blood type of F, also the same blood type as Luffy. Okay, let's get on to number 9. At number 9, we have Brooke. And Brooke, actually, I'm going to put him in the slot of old era. And there's a reason behind this, as a little curveball to you guys. Old era Brooke, only because he is actually 90 years old. So with him being 90 years old, there could be a possibility of another character being similar to him. And I think this is Kuzan. So I'm gonna put both of them up on the screens here, and so basically, if you compare both of them, Kuzan and Brooke, Brooke's 90 years old. He's been around for a long time. He's been around since, you know, the Roger era, and he uses ice in his attacks. Kuzan has the ice fruit. Brooke in his older day has like an afro-looking kind of hair, and same with Kuzan. Even the glasses are the same, their facial structure exactly the same. So I think Brooke will be in the older era, but resemble in Kuzan. Like, maybe Kuzan could be his I don't want to say son because he's like 50, so it wouldn't make any sense. But like maybe his nephew or his grandson. That'd be more fitting. I guess that would be pretty close or bang on there. Like, that's just my opinion on that, but you know, me throwing Brooke into the old era would make sense. And yet again, like, he kind of new era, old era, he's working with a new era pirate, but he's from the old era because he's 90 years old. And Kuzan has similar powers to him. They look exactly the same, unless Oda just draws, you know, people with afros the same. I don't really know, but there's a really good possibility that these similarities could show up later on in the series. Totally my opinion, by the way, but let me know what you guys think. At number 8, we have Frankie. He's the shipwright for the Straw Hat Pirates crew. And for similarities, I can only figure out maybe 2 characters that would fit the similarities to Frankie, or Frankie taking the similarities of those characters. And the first one makes a little bit more sense than the second one, but it could also be a combination of both. So we have very first one right here is Tom. Tom is the adoptive father of Frankie. So Tom was also a shipwright and also built the ship for the Pirate King Goldie Roger, the Oro Jackson. So right there, they have the similarities of building a ship for their captain, and you know, Frankie has built 1,000 Sunnies. Luffy may or may not be the king of the pirates, and Tom has already built the ship for the Pirate King in the past. So with that, Tom has taught everything that he knows to Frankie, everything about shipwrights and all that stuff. Also, one funny thing is that Tom was holding on to blueprints for the Pluton weapon. It's an ancient weapon. There's 2 other items that you need to have this completed, and one of them is the Pluton blueprints. So Frankie also is in charge of keeping that secret safe, which, by the way, later on, if you watch the series, he ends up burning it, but we don't know if he actually memorized it or not. But Tom was holding it safe for someone else, right? And the second character that I have in mind with similarities to Frankie is Dr. Vegapunk. So we don't know that much about him. We barely talk about him in the show. We don't even see him. Like, we see his waist down. And basically, the reason why, and my thought process on this, is that Frankie, after the time skip, he was sent to Dr. Vegapunk's island. So, like, where he grew up and all that. And he ended up finding the warehouse that Dr. Vegapunk had, where he built all the robots and everything, and where he experimented on all that. So Frankie ended up studying a lot of the scientific knowledge, all the military stuff. Frankie's also a tinkerer, so he learned a lot of stuff in that 2-year time. And maybe with the Dr. Vegapunk's technology, he can make a weapon for Luffy to take down some other pirates. So that is the 2 characters that I think would be similar to Frankie. If you smash them both up together, that pretty much makes Frankie. Up next, we have Nico Robin, and before I jump into this, I was going to put some similarities together with her and her mother, Olivia Nico, but early on, Olivia Nico leaves Nico Robin behind to go and find different poneglyphs with the Marines. She doesn't really teach Nico anything. The only thing they have in common is that they can both read poneglyphs, so she's out of there. The only person that I can think of that has similarities to Nico Robin and who actually taught her how to read the poneglyphs is Clover. Clover is an old man from Ohara, and he runs the Ohara library, and also has a bunch of colleagues that follow him at the Tree of Knowledge. So they all study the poneglyphs together, they know how to read them, and basically later on down the road, things happen, and that area is no more. So basically, Nico Robin is probably one of many, or of the few, that can still read poneglyphs. So that is one. And the second person that I actually had in mind for Nico Robin, just as in like similarities of facial features, just like their mannerisms and all that, would be Shaki. Shaki is the bartender of the Ripoff Bar, and a former pirate, also the wife of Silver's Rayleigh. Shaki is also slim and tall woman with short black hair, just like Nico Robin. So I'll put the comparison there together. They're also like soft-spoken, the way they hold their hands. So she holds her hand like this with a smoke, and Nico would have like a tea. They're really, like, in my opinion, they're really similar the way they are. Like, if this would be Nico Robin in the future, that is Shaki. And yeah, that's the way I see it, guys. Coming in at number 6 is my boy Tony Chopper, the lovable reindeer of the Straw Hat Pirates crew, also the doctor of the crew. And without a doubt, you guys can probably guess who these people are that I'm going to be giving to his similarities, and that is obviously his adopted father and adopted mother, Dr. Hiroluke and Dr. Corhera. So, Dr. Hiroluke, I think Chopper gets all his similarities and her personality from him. He's really quirky, really zany, crazy guy, but he's also a lovable and caring guy as well. He's also a doctor, And Chopper ends up learning everything he possibly can know from Dr. Corhera after Dr. Heraluke unfortunately dies. And so these are the two, I'm going to keep it short and sweet here, these are the two similarities, two characters with the similarities for Chopper. I mean, other than that, he's a reindeer. You can't really relate them to them because they're humans. But yeah, he learns everything from these two, and man, I love Tony Jabber. Coming in at number 5 is Sanji, and without a doubt in my mind, this character has the most similarities to Sanji, and that is owner Zeph. Zeph is the head chef and owner of Bharati, aka Red Leg. Zeph, he's Sanji's cooking mentor and his adoptive father. They both love to cook, they both love to fight with their legs, and they both have yellow hair. So Sanji has learned everything he can possibly know about cooking from Zeph. Also, half of the story, Zeph has trained Sanji on how to fight. And I'm just going to keep it short and sweet here. That's basically it. Like, if you look at the comparisons to them, they're pretty close on. It looks like Zeph had a crazy fight back in the day and lost his leg. Who knows? Maybe that'll happen to Black Leg Sanji. Other than that, that is number 5. Next up is Usopp, the sniper of the Straw Hat Pirates crew. Usopp, I have to do it again. I'm going to have to compare two characters or similarities to this one. And there's a reason why for that. So the first one is Yusuf. Yusuf is Usopp's father. His father is seen like early on in the series. He actually is hanging out with Red Hair Shanks. He's part of Red Hair Shanks' crew, and also he's hanging out with Luffy. Later, he tells Luffy that he has a son named Usopp. So, there you go. You already have a connection. Yusuf looks exactly like Usopp, or Usopp looks like Yusuf, and they're both snipers. But that's basically it. Just like all the other characters, Yusuf is out of the picture. He lets his son do whatever. He's not around for his life because he's off being a pirate. Just like every other character in this crew. Kind of weird. But anyways, with that, Luffy ends up finding Usopp, and Usopp is he's a liar, but his lies become true, and people believe it. So the other person that I have in mind and for similarities of Usopp is Nolan the Liar. So there's a book in the show. It's called Nolan the Liar. And basically, it shows a tale about Nolan throughout his journey of this like great adventure that he goes on. And basically, Nolan tells the truth about an amazing adventure about gold and all this, and everybody thinks that he's a liar. So, in retrospect, it's like opposite of Usopp, but similar. So, because Nolan the Liar tells the truth, everything is switched over as in like he's lying. So Usopp, in that fact, is telling lies and deceiving people and his trickery, and they become true and everyone believes it. Also, they both want to be great warriors of the sea. Well, Nolan is already great warrior of the sea, and is foretold, and Usopp's dream is to become the great warrior of the sea. So that is the two characters that I have for Usopp: Yusuf, his father, and Nolan the Liar. In our third spot is Nami. Nami is the navigator for the Straw Hats crew and also knows a lot about weather manipulation. So, without a doubt, this comparison would be to Herodis. So after the time skip, she traveled to Weatheria, and that is where Herodis lives. And he's an old man who lives in Weatheria, and he tutored Nami in weather manipulation and New World climates. I'm just going to throw this in here. I mean, you guys might say this is a little bit crazy, but the other one compared to Nami is Red Hair Shanks. Not for the power, strength, or hockey, but for the Straw Hat. So, if we take a look back, the Straw Hat was Rogers, Goldie Rogers, then he passed it down to Shanks. Shanks later passed it down to Luffy, and Nami inherits the hat somehow later on. I mean, maybe I'll get this into a different discussion. But my whole point being is that Luffy is the only one to give Nami the hat before he fights Arlong, and she wears the hat. She's the only Straw Hat to be wearing the hat. Luffy, like, constantly tells Nami to take care of the hat, fix the hat for him. She even added strings around the hat so Luffy wouldn't lose it. So that's the only comparison that I had to that. Maybe in the future we might see her holding the hat, looking for the next Pirate King out there. Up next is Zorro. Zorro is the swordsman for the Straw Hat Pirates crew, and without a doubt, this one's the easiest similarities that I can put in there, is Silver's Rayleigh. So Silver's Rayleigh is the first mate of Goldie Roger, and Zorro is the first mate of Luffy. They're both swordsmen. They both have scars over their eyes. Rayleigh has it over his right eye, and Zorro has it over his left. Zorro has a cut from his chest going across, and Rayleigh has one going over his right pec. The similarities are unreal. I think Oda is basically foreshadowing that Zorro is going to be the first mate of the eventually Pirate King Luffy. I was going to throw in Dracula Mihawk, but all he did really was train Zorro for 2 years, and that was it. Zorro learned like new moves and got a little bit stronger, but that is it. Other than that, Zorro and Silver's Rayleigh look so much alike, and they're both swordsmen. Like I said, they have like identical scars. So that is basically it. And coming in at number 1 for my top 10 list of similarities to other characters in the world of One Piece is Goldie Roger and Luffy. So Luffy, without a doubt, I mean, you guys knew that was coming. Luffy has a lot of similarities to Goldie Roger. Goldie Roger had the straw hat from the beginning of the series, and later on passed it to Shanks, then gave it to Luffy. Luffy has come across a lot of people from Goldie Roger's era, and talked to a lot of people. He's even trained with the first mate, Silver's Rayleigh, and their adventure is pretty much parallel. Shanks even said that he's saying the same stuff that Goldie Roger said back when he was on the ship with him. Even, this is crazy, even when their execution, Goldie Roger is about to get executed. I'm going to put it up on screen right now. He smiles right before they execute him. And Luffy, same thing. They're about to kill him, and he was smiling right before some things happened, and he got saved. So, without a doubt, that is my top 10 list. Luffy, Roger, exactly the same. If you guys have any concerns, or you want to throw in your own ideas for characters that have like similarities or comparisons later on, let me know in the comment section below. If you like this list, drop me a like. And other than that, guys, till next time, see ya.